3, and we are going to talk about anti-globalization. Okay, next. I'm going to take the introduction part, and we basically our team is the anti-globalization. The Among the various negative aspects that we experience in the process of globalization, our team mainly focus on the cultural clash and the migration issue. The two big factors. First thing, especially as far as losing the traditional culture is concerned, the imperialistic spread of English has not only decreased the linguistic diversity, but also contributed to losing the traditional culture of many countries. On top of that, as for the migration issues such as immigration, urban drift, and the brain drain, have negatively impacted on the sustainable and balanced economic development. So, our team members, each member is gonna explain the why, what these four factors means and how these four factors negatively affected to the each countries.
Okay. Hi everyone. I focus on 2 points of negative effect of globalization. First point is in culture. So, clash of civilization and remaking of world order is a famous book written by Samuel Huntington, who is professor of Harvard University. Now my question is, can we see clash of civilization and deteriorating of world order? Yes, we can see. Even though globalization has many positive effect, but we cannot deny negative side of globalization, such as terrorism, including September 11 attack to United States, and increasing regional conflicts, and Afghan war and Iraq war, Israel, Russia, and Georgia, something like that. So let's move on. Second point, imperialistic spread of English. So I would like to point imperialistic spread of English pose some problems such as westernization of culture and loss of traditional culture, and loss of linguistic identity, and spread of English stimulates regional conflict. And last point, I would like to say, only mastering English ability is not enough. We have to acquire logical and critical thinking of way, as well as some professional skills and experience. So let's move on. Hongan will present immigration.
Okay. The supporters of the globalization, please listen carefully. As globalization has proceeded, ironically, more and more people have been excluded from the participation of the economic market. And also people have been denied their social, economical, and cultural rights. Why does this happen? So, international migration has become a critical feature of globalization. We have mainly three causes of globalization and migration. First of all, economic aspects. The skyrocketing debt and national budget deficits have produced fiscal crisis in many countries, and this have undermined the social programs and support. So this contributed to out-migration flows from many countries and regions. And second, social aspects. The severe breakdown of social and political and economical structure have made it more difficult for people to survive in their traditional communities or their hometowns. And lastly, the scientific aspect. The development and modernization of communication and transportation have made it more easier that's why people are getting to immigrate from their countries to other foreign countries. So there are around three consequences of the migration and globalization. So the economic uncertainty and economic uncertainty heighten the racial anti-migration hostility, especially in the predominantly white native population seek economic security. So people began to demand government to control the legal or illegal immigration to secure their economic rights. And then this political pressure created the restrictions on immigrants and restrictions on the rights of the current immigrants. So these kind of policies and practices have strengthened the anti-migration activity and institutional discrimination. So these are the problems of the migration and the globalization. The next.
Next, I will talk about brain drain. And the brain drain happen in all over the world, but today, now I will use the example of Africa to explain how the brain drain severely affect a country. In Africa, as you know, most countries in Africa are under poverty, and the countries in Africa are needs the professional people such as doctors, computer engineer, economists, and who are educated in Africa to contribute the development for their country. However, every year there are 150,000 professional expatriate will go to other countries, and it costs African continent over $4 billion every year. And the situation is getting worse, and I would like to use the situation in Ethiopia. For example, in Ethiopia, Ethiopia government lost 75% of its skilled workforce between 1980 to 1991, and it's caused very huge damage to Ethiopian government. Ethiopian government educated many excellent doctors in their country, but now the situation is more Ethiopian doctors in Chicago, not they are in Ethiopia. There are one more term for brain gain. Brain gain is the opposite situation of brain gain. It's the country gets many skilled and professional people from other countries. For example, in 2000, the U.S. Congress decided to raise the annual cap on the number of temporary work visa for highly skilled professionals from 150,000 to 195,000 every year. And many developed countries now are working to the brain gain. So the globalization caused many brain drain, and brain drain will cause the gap between countries will be larger and larger. Next, Guma will talk about the urban drift.
Let me talk about other negative impacts of globalization. Globalization may lead to collapse of rural community. Many liberalists emphasize that through trade liberalization, we can improve our standard of living. That is to say, we can buy products that other can produce at a lower cost. In exchange for things we can produce relatively cheaper. Summing up, the gains of the winners exceed losses of losers. However, rural areas and agriculture in developing countries have a lot of structural problems. First of all, rural area has extremely small farming scale. Also, the annual income of farm household depends highly on agriculture.